Join me in this month's vlog as I take you from knitting on Hornby Island, BC to yarn shopping in London, UK. Hello, welcome to the start of September's vlog. So initially when I was thinking about this video, I was meant to be flying to the UK today for something important, but that has been pushed back a week. And so this morning I have started to make my way to Hornby Island via public transit. I initially didn't think I could do that. And then after researching, I realised I could. So I got up early this morning, made my way to the ferry from the mainland to Vancouver Island. I then just booked an island connector bus that took me up a bit further north from the ferry terminal there, and I'm now waiting to go on the next ferry. I have to get another little ferry, only a 10-minute ferry from Vancouver Island to Denman Island, and then hopefully there's a little free bus that takes me across Denman Island to get my final ferry from Denman Island to Hornby Island. So it's quite an adventure, but I don't mind sitting on public transit. I've got my wrap top that I told you about in my last vlog. I'm working on that a bit more as I've been traveling. So yeah, it's very beautiful, and as you can see, it's a pretty nice day today. When I woke up this morning in Vancouver, it's pretty smoky from all the wildfires that are unfortunately happening around us, but it seems like either the sun has cleared some of it or it's just a bit clearer further away. So yeah, I'm going to be taking you with me, and then probably you'll be getting a bit of a UK trip within this vlog as well. I only had 24 hours on Hornby Island, but as you can see, it's well worth the journey because look how stunning this beach is. In the evening, the group of friends that we were with, we all went to Fossil Beach Farm, which is a farm, it's a cidery, it has live music at the weekends during the summer. It's a really lovely activity, and then we got to see the beautiful sunset. I don't know how much I explained of that Hornby trip. So basically, us and a group of friends had planned that trip way back earlier this year to happen in September, and then just a few weeks before the trip was scheduled to happen, I thought that there was something I needed to come home for, something important. So everyone else was obviously still planning to go, and they went on Friday at the beginning of the weekend. And then I found out later that Friday that I didn't need to go home that weekend anymore because the important thing had been pushed back a week. So then I had to decide if I was still going to try and get to Hornby or not. I realised I could get to the island still by public transport, which was amazing. I didn't think I was able to do that. So I decided just to go for it. As you saw in the footage, I made my way in public transport. It was actually a very straightforward journey. Not really any different than if I had driven. There's just a little bit of a time delay going across Denman Island, but other than that, it was all very easy. But it did mean that I only got to spend 24 hours on Hornby before we were all heading back on the Sunday. But as you might be able to tell from the footage, it was worth it. It's such a beautiful island. We've been before. It's the inspiration for the Hornby sweater vest that I'm wearing right now, and I just released a tutorial for. If you missed that, go check it out in my profile, my channel. But yeah, it's a beautiful place. Like, the water is so beautiful, clear blue, it's calm a lot of the time. The beaches are so tranquil, I absolutely love it there, and the rest of our group liked it too, so we're hoping to try and make it an annual thing. So anyway, you may well be coming with me to the UK at the weekend. Still working on my design. I had to actually frog the whole thing because I realised I'd done the maths wrong. Yeah, September. It's still sunny for now. We're trying to make the most of it because I suspect when I get back from the UK we'll be full into full rainy, wet season. While I've mentioned my newest design, I briefly did talk about it in my last vlog covering August. And this new design is going to be knitted, my first knitted garment pattern that I have designed. All my garments to date have been crochet other than socks. So it's going to be a wrap top with the idea that you're going to be able to wear it multiple ways, which hopefully I'll be able to show you when the design is finished. But I have been working on a sample to fit me and then grade it. So I've been trying to do all the maths for the increases, because although it's going to be modular, I'm constructing it top down. So I'm starting on one panel first. So as you can see, I'm doing increased stitches to get that triangle of a wrap top shape. And I did have to frog it a couple of days ago and start again, because the original maths I had done to get from the width it is here to the width I would need it to be at the bottom to wrap round, I realised not too far from the level that I'm back at now that I'd done it wrong. I had miscalculated, and it only took me to knitting about this much to kind of realise it's not taking the shape that I wanted it to. The increases weren't looking right. It was kind of getting a bit more warped than how I want it to look. So I recalculated the maths and I've started again, and I think this is going to be good this time. I think I've got the numbers right. I think it's going to be good to grade. I probably should check that before I get much further, but I just wanted to make at least one panel to make sure that it's got the right fit for my size, and then I'll try and grade it, make sure it works, and then I can start working on the rest of the design. As I mentioned before, the yarn I'm using for this sample, because my intention for this is to be a bit of a lighter layer for the warmer months, so spring, summer, maybe early autumn. I am using Knitting for Olives cotton merino yarn. Sorry, a bit of shadow there. And I'm using the colour denim. No, okay, I say denim. It's actually called Dusty Blue Whale. It's lovely and soft. I haven't used Knitting for Olive yarn before. It's really soft. I'm enjoying it. It's kind of got the right texture that I'm looking for. Overall, I'm enjoying it. It's a very easy process. You're just alternating 2 rows, one with increased stitches, one without. It is worked flat, so you are doing lots of purl stitching, but I think that's the way I'll make this work rather than doing it in the round. And also because I do like my patterns to be portable, I feel like when it comes to bigger garments, like a top, having it modular means you can carry one piece that you're working on at a time with you. You don't have to carry like the whole thing once you're kind of significantly into the pattern. So that's the reason for, another reason for doing it modular over in one complete piece. Plus for me, I know that when I've knit a cardigan before that is kind of raglan or in the round or whatever, doing like the whole thing going back and forth is a bit much for me. So I think doing smaller sections is a bit more palatable for me. So that's where I'm at with it. I'm happy. Maths is never my strong point, and a part of me now that I do design patterns can't believe that I am using maths in my life, because I never thought I would be using it again after school. I wasn't completely terrible at it, but a lot of it just did not click with me. So I kind of like that I'm using it now, and I'm using that part of my brain that kind of lay mostly dormant for a long time. And occasionally I will get it wrong, but I will figure it out before it's too late. Obviously, even if I got it wrong and didn't notice, I do use tech editors who are amazing and will capture if I've made a mistake on one size or something. They are very good at capturing that, of course, that's what they do. And then it's tested as well, but I like the pattern to be as good as possible from myself making it, from it being tech edited, that the testers shouldn't have too much to worry about, and it's just ensuring that that it's clearly written and that they're happy with the end result. So although it's very early stages with this, maybe I'll have a sample created by the end of this month. You're going to be able to see that over the course of this video. But if you're interested in testing, I would hop onto my newsletter list, which you can find on my website, wanderingcreativemma.com/subscribe. But the link to that will also be in the description of this video. I'm going to carry on working on this. I think it's probably going to be, I'm pretty confident, unless I have I come up with something else, that this is going to be the project that I take to do on the plane with me. When I'm taking something to make on the plane or train or in the car, I do look for something that's pretty easy to do. And if it's knitting, that is like a stockinette stitch project, because I don't have to look at what I'm doing quite so much, and so I can kind of watch a film on the TV in front of me and just work away on this. You know, it passes the time, keeps my hands busy, keeps my brain busy, calms any anxiety that maybe I'm experiencing, because sometimes I do feel that on plane flying these days, or just travel in general. Even though I absolutely love it and want to do more of it, I do still get anxiety on like travel days. Yeah, anyway, let's see how I get on throughout the rest of the month. Remember how last month I started the Sundial Tea by Wool & Pine because I wanted to do a real stash busty project, and I did the swatch. That's as far as I got, and I decided that for that particular pattern and the amount of fingering weight yarn I had in my stash, I didn't like the combinations together. So I said that I had bought the Seaglass tea, also by Wool & Pine, and then I was going to try that out with my stash. So I have started on my swatch. This is the bag of fingering weight yarn that I have. The pattern uses fingering weight yarn, and it's a colourwork pattern using 1x1 stitch design, so you're changing your colour. You have 2 colours per round and you're doing like 1x1 colour at a time per stitch. I think this is much better. I'm having much more fun, and this is my swatch so far. So I really am just going for it, combining colours together. It's going to be a truly scrappy project, but I think this pattern is going to be working much better for what I want to do compared to the Sundial Tea, and hopefully I'll make the Sundial Tea another time. But I like that this one, the pattern, they recommend that you change your 2 colours every round. I'm trying to keep some logic to it, so the 2 colours that I'm picking per round, I'm trying to keep like one darker, one lighter colour. That hasn't always happened with this swatch, but I think for the amount of like slightly random colours I have in here, this is going to work really well because it kind of just all blends together. Yeah, I think it's going to be fun. I'm hoping to finish this swatch, make it a little bit bigger just to make sure I'm hitting the gauge, or if I'm not, trying to do some recalculations or change my needle size, whatever I need to do. I don't know when, given that I'm going to be away for a little bit in the UK and I don't fancy taking this with me. I have projects in mind that I'm going to take with me. I don't know when exactly I'll get to it, but it was just fun to play around with my stash and see if it was something that I was even going to want to continue making. But I would say yes, and so far, even though I've only got as far as the gauge swatch, I think the pattern is very well written. They have video tutorials as well, because they have a method that I haven't actually looked at yet just for this swatch, but for joining your yarn colours in the round to prevent having to weave in a whole heap of ends. They have, I think they called it a magic knot. So I just need to look and see what that exactly is. Yeah, just wanted to show you that. And we'll see how I get on and if I get to it at all for the rest of this month, or if it's going to be a October project. I am checked in and on my way to the UK. I have my project, is my new design. That is going to be the project that I work on in the plane and while I wait to board the plane. I did put a lifeline in it last night because you never know. I've never had an issue going from Canada to the UK with knitting needles, but you never know. And also because I normally recommend having wooden or plastic needles, but I'm using my Chaigu metal ones. I did put needle stuff on the end of it, but again, just because it's metal, I thought better to be safe than sorry, add a lifeline, but no questions asked. It was all good. So now I just have to wait an hour or so and I'll be boarding and I'll have 9 hours to kill. I'm hoping there's some good movies, TV, and I get some knitting time in. Hello, so it has been a little while since I picked up the camera and talked into it, which was when I was travelling from Vancouver to the UK. As you can tell, I'm in a different space. I'm in a hotel room right now. The lighting is not great, so apologies, it's a little dark, and there is some construction work going on outside, so hopefully it's not going to disrupt me. But I wanted to just check in quickly because it has been almost 2 weeks since I kind of talked to the camera. We're nearly at the end of September now, which is crazy. It's gone by so quickly. So I just wanted to update you on my works in progress for this month, which has mostly been that wrap top design that I have been working on. But I have been in London for the last week, and while I have been here, I have managed to do a little bit of yarn shopping. So I wanted to show you what I have bought and a new whip that I cast on with my new yarn because I couldn't wait. So to quickly update you on the wrap top, I have finished my first panel, which is here. So this is, I haven't taken the lifeline out yet that I put in before I went on the flight, just in case the needles got taken off me, but I also wanted it to be a lifeline in case I felt something went wrong, I had somewhere to go back to. But I finished the first panel and I haven't washed it or blocked it or anything, and annoyingly, I forgot to pack my tape measure, so I haven't been able to measure this yet. But I think it has worked out how I wanted it to, so this will come around the back. I think it will stretch out a little bit with washing and blocking, so we'll see. But now my plan is to make the second panel to go across here. I think I won't truly know what the fit is like until I've washed it, blocked it, and obviously seamed all the panels together. So I need to start working this left side panel and then do the back, seam it all together, and we'll see. That's my update on that. So this is where I was at before I left Vancouver, and then in the last almost 2 weeks since I have been back, I did the rest of this. So as you can see, it gets wider as I go. So that's that, and I need to start on the second one. I didn't really do much knitting at all for the first kind of 5 or 6 days that I was back. I was just busy with some things, but now I'm getting a bit more back into it. But yes, I have been in London, and I have been staying in Chelsea in West London, which, if you don't know, is a very fancy part of London to be in. It's a very wealthy area, so it's not a bad area of London to be in, and I haven't spent this much time in London since I lived here over 10 years ago. It was since I left. So it's been nice to come back here. I do love the city. There is so much going on, like anything you want to do, you can do it in London. And it has been a nice area to be in. So I really think that has given me the like romanticized version of London. It's not always like that. But yeah, there's not necessarily yarn stores specifically in Chelsea. I travelled a little bit. And I did film those, so I will cut to that here and come back and talk about the yarn that I purchased. Okay, so in that first yarn store, which was McCulloch and Wallace, which I got this very cute little canvas bag as my carrier bag from there with my purchases. So as you saw, that it was not just a yarn store, it had lots of fabric and sewing paraphernalia in there. So if you are sewing as well as a knitter and crocheter, that is the perfect store for you. That is in Soho, which is more central London, very fun area. I recommend visiting if you ever go to London. It's full of restaurants, bars, shops. There's a big street dedicated for like tailoring as well. So if you are a sewer, there are some amazing fabric shops where I used to go to when I lived in London, and had a little bit of a period of time where I was trying to get into sewing. I really got frustrated with sewing because you have to be so precise to have the straight lines when you're cutting and when you're sewing. I really struggled with that. I would love to get back into it more one day and practice, because the idea of kind of sewing my own clothes as well as being able to knit and crochet them really appeals to me. So one day I'll get back into it, but I did buy some fabric there occasionally, so recommend Soho area. But the yarn that I bought from there, I bought this West Yorkshire Spinners DK yarn. It's 100% British wool, and I bought it in black. And this is to make another journey cowl, which is a cowl pattern designed by myself, which you can find on my website, Etsy and Ravelry. A friend of mine has requested one to take with her on a trip she's doing this Christmas, and I'm happily obliging. She's a very good friend of mine and never asked for anything. So I wanted to do this, and she wanted it in black. So I've bought some black wool. Luckily the journey cowl is very easy pattern, so I'm not going to have too much difficulty knitting with black yarn, because that can be tricky depending on the pattern. But yeah, it's 100% wool, West Yorkshire Spinners, Colour Lab. I know West Yorkshire Spinners is a very popular yarn brand, but because I'm not in the UK most of the time, I haven't had too much access to it. But I have actually bought some more West Yorkshire Spinner yarn in my other yarn store. So that's that. And then the other yarn I bought is the one that I already cast on because I couldn't wait. I'm making a pair of socks for my sister. But the yarn I got is the Manos del Uruguay Alegria, I think is how you pronounce that yarn. It's a sock yarn. It is 75% merino superwash, 25% polyamide, and it is this lovely peachy pink speckled yarn. I'm so sorry, the lighting is so bad in here. But yeah, it's a lovely speckle. So I had to do some hand winding in my hotel. The colourway for this is Pink Lemonade. Yep, so very summery, and I just couldn't wait to start making some socks. They're just a vanilla sock. I'm kind of winging it. I did a 2x2 rib for the cuff, and then just stockinette stitch for the body. I've done the toe decreases on this first one, and I'll add a heel in later on. And I started casting on the second sock already. I do love a vanilla sock pattern when you just want something easy and mindless, which I have needed, just something to keep my hands busy but not be too challenging. This has been a very nice project to work on. I finished this last night, although I haven't done the heel, and that's about 3 days worth of knitting. And I have just finished the cuff on my second pair, so I'll start knitting the tube now. So maybe in another few days I'll have that finished, but we'll be into October by that point. But yeah, very nice. The yarn itself feels really soft. I haven't washed it yet, but feels like a lovely, soft, cozy sock yarn. So I'm very excited for these. My sister has seen them and approves of the colours, so that's nice. I'm happy to be making those for her. So that was the McCulloch and Wallace yarn store. The other place I went is not specifically a yarn store, as I mentioned. It's a department store, which is a chain of department stores in the UK. The one in Kensington, Chelsea, is called Peter Jones, but in general they're called John Lewis. And they do have a haberdashery yarn section in all of them. So one time I was just wandering around and I went to browse in there because I knew I actually was trying to get to another yarn store in another part of London. When I Google Mapped it, it said it would be a 20-minute bus journey, and I had forgotten what London traffic is like, so I got on said bus, and after 20 minutes, when in theory I was supposed to be at this yarn store, I had barely gone 100 metres down the road, so I had to ditch that idea and instead went into the Peter Jones and thought I'd have a look at what yarn they have in there, and of course walked away with some more. So this is another West Yorkshire Spinners yarn. It's their Solstice 4-ply. I got it in this light blue colour, which they call Breeze. And this yarn is 70% Falklands wool, 20% lyocell and 10% cashmere. I have a vague plan for what I want to do with this yarn. I think it will be another design, but maybe a simple bandana or slash scarf. I know the scarves are very done this year, but I've been really getting into the bandana look this year, so I'm thinking something like that. It's lovely and soft, so maybe it won't be the right material. They'll, at some point in the near future, wind this up and do some gauge swatching and see how I feel about it. But it feels lovely and soft. I really like this kind of light colour, the light blue. But yeah, that's been the extent of my shopping in London. I am going to be going back to Norwich shortly, where my family are, and they have yarn stores there, which I have already documented in a previous vlog that I released last year, so you can go and have a look at that. But if I do manage to visit any this time, I will of course document them and share them with you. Norwich is not such a popular tourist destination if you're coming to the UK or England, but if you have extra time, I recommend it. It's a very old city, medieval, a lot of history there, a lot of very old buildings, some lovely cobbled streets, yarn stores, it's got a market. Recommend visiting. It's not somewhere that you pass through even, it is out of the way, kind of east of England, but it's got a beautiful coastline. If I manage to get to any of that, I will of course show you so you can see a bit more of it. But yeah, that is probably going to be the end of my September vlog. As I say, as I'm recording this, there's only a few days left of September. I don't really see myself doing anything more other than working on this sock. So I'm going to leave you there. Thank you for watching this month's vlog episode. I hope you've enjoyed my trip from Hornby Island in BC to London in the UK. And I will see you next time to show you all that I hope get up to in October. I'm not even sure what my October looks like fully. I obviously will be traveling back to Canada at some point, and yeah, we'll see. I will see what projects I get up to. If I get further on my wrap top, I'll probably finish these socks, and that blanket, the baby blanket that I'm working on, that's knitting and crochet combined, I have done nothing with. I've brought it back to the UK with me, but I really need to start working on that because my friend will be having her baby and she is UK based, so ideally I'm going to have this blanket done in the next 2 weeks. You'll find out if I get to do that or not. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.